When Jonathan Antoine first stepped onto the Britain's Got Talent stage at just 17 years old, he could barely look up. His hands shook, his heart raced, and his eyes darted nervously across the audience. The world saw a shy teenager who looked out of place. But when he opened his mouth to sing, time itself seemed to pause. The voice that came out, rich, powerful, and filled with emotion, made even Simon Cowell sit in stunned silence. Within minutes, millions of people across the world were comparing him to Luciano Pavarotti. Yet behind that breathtaking moment was a young man who had lived through years of cruelty, loneliness, and inner pain. Jonathan's journey wasn't just about music. It was about survival, acceptance, and finding light after years of darkness. A childhood in shadows. Jonathan Antoine was born on January 13, 1995, in Chigwell, Essex, to John, a police inspector, and Tracy, a homemaker. Outwardly, it seemed like an ordinary, loving family life. But inside, Jonathan's early years were filled with deep emotional scars. From as early as 4 years old, he became a target for bullies. He was a sensitive, overweight child who didn't fit the mold, and other kids were merciless. He was called names, mocked for his size, and often left out of games. Lunchtime became a daily ordeal. Jonathan would sometimes sit alone, holding back tears while others laughed at him. Teachers would later say he was one of the most polite, gentle students they'd ever met. Just one who never quite knew where he belonged. By the time he was 5, Jonathan's struggles had already taken a toll on his health. Emotional eating became his comfort. Doctors described it as a psychological reaction to trauma, a way of coping with pain that felt too heavy to speak aloud. But even during those lonely years, something extraordinary was happening. Jonathan discovered sound. He would hum to himself in quiet corners, stringing together notes in perfect pitch. His mother noticed early on that he could hear a melody once and reproduce it exactly, down to the smallest detail. Music became his refuge, a language through which he could express everything he couldn't say in words. A rare gift. Emerges when Jonathan was 10. A moment of chance changed his life forever. During a school choir rehearsal, a substitute teacher named Mrs. Williams asked him to audition for a solo. Nervous but curious, he sang, and what she heard stunned her. His voice was clear, resonant, and carried the warmth and depth of a trained tenor. It didn't sound like a child's voice at all. It was like hearing Pavarotti trapped inside a young boy, she later said. That discovery became the beginning of Jonathan's escape from the shadows. His voice, strong enough to fill a hall without a microphone, soon drew attention from local choirs and music festivals. For the first time in his life, he wasn't invisible. He was being seen, and more importantly, heard. Music gave him confidence, a reason to stand tall, and a way to connect with others without fear. The festival breakthrough and the Royal Academy years. At 13, Jonathan's voice transformed again. While many young singers lose control after puberty, his voice deepened into a rich, powerful tenor. His music teacher, Jenny Ewington, recognized that his talent was rare. She entered him into the 2010 Stratford and East London Music Festival, where he performed Bring Him Home from Les Miserables. The performance moved the audience to tears. When the judges named him Young Musician of the Year, it wasn't just a trophy, it was a validation of everything he had endured. 1 year later, Jonathan performed Ave Maria at London's Royal Festival Hall as part of a youth showcase. The crowd's reaction confirmed what many were beginning to realize. This was no ordinary teenager. His voice carried emotion beyond his years, and the purity of his sound filled every inch of the hall. Invitations followed from London's top music conservatories. Against incredible odds, Jonathan was accepted into all of them. He chose the Royal Academy of Music, one of the most prestigious in the world. There, Jonathan thrived. His days were filled with vocal lessons, music theory, and performance training. At first, his classmates underestimated him, but once he began to sing, all doubts disappeared. Within months, he became the youngest performer ever cast in the lead role of the Magic Flute at the Academy, a record that still stands. The partnership that changed everything. In 2011, fate stepped in once again. His teacher Jenny decided to pair him with another student, Charlotte Giaconelli, a confident, charismatic singer with a natural stage presence. The two couldn't have been more different. Charlotte loved the spotlight. Jonathan preferred to hide from it. Yet the moment their voices blended, something magical happened. Their duet of The Prayer mesmerized everyone who heard it. For months, they performed together at small local events, weddings, community halls, charity galas. They earned little money, but their audiences were captivated. Charlotte saw in Jonathan what few others did. Not just a shy boy, but a rare talent ready to be shared with the world. When she convinced him to audition for Britain's Got Talent, he resisted, afraid of being mocked again. But Charlotte persisted, and just minutes before the deadline, she submitted their application. Their audition in 2012 became one of the most unforgettable moments in the show's history. Standing side by side on the London Palladium stage, Jonathan could barely speak. Simon Cowell looked skeptical, but the moment he began to sing, disbelief turned into awe. Their version of The Prayer brought the audience to its feet. Cowell called Jonathan a revelation, comparing him to Pavarotti. The video of their performance spread across the internet, racking up millions of views. Overnight, Jonathan Antoine became a global sensation. Fame, records, and the road to independence. Although they finished second in the competition, Jonathan and Charlotte's careers exploded. Simon Cowell's label Psycho offered them a £1 million record deal. Their first album, Together, was released in 2012 and entered the UK Top 10. A year later, their second album, Perhaps Love, climbed even higher. They toured the UK, appeared on television shows, and became known as the classical crossover duo of a generation. But behind the smiles and elegant performances, Jonathan was quietly struggling. The pressures of fame, long tours, and media scrutiny took a toll on his mental and physical health. More importantly, artistic differences began to surface. Jonathan's heart belonged to opera and classical music, while Charlotte wanted to explore modern styles. By 2014, after months of disagreement, they parted ways professionally. It was a painful but necessary step. A solo voice finds its strength. At 19, Jonathan faced the stage alone for the first time. It was both terrifying and liberating. That year, he performed at the iTunes Festival at the invitation of Placido Domingo, one of the greatest tenors of all time. Standing next to his idol, Jonathan realized he belonged in that world. Later, in 2014, he released his debut solo album, Tenore. Produced by Anna Barry, known for her work with Andrea Bocelli, the album showcased Jonathan's astonishing maturity. It reached #1 on the UK classical charts and broke into the top 20 of the pop charts, an unprecedented achievement for a classical artist his age. Critics called him a voice beyond his years. Jonathan's second album, Believe, followed in 2016. It was deeply personal, combining operatic arias with songs like Leonard Cohen's Hallelujah. One track, A New Tomorrow became a message of hope and healing. His performance style evolved, less about perfection, more about emotion. Each song was a reflection of how far he'd come. New horizons and personal transformation. By 2018, Jonathan's career had taken him around the world. He performed solo concerts across North America, including his debut at California's Fred Kavli Theatre. In 2019, his Beyond the Curtain concert in Canada showcased the full range of his artistry, from Disney melodies to Puccini's Nessun Dorma. Singing that aria publicly for the first time was symbolic. It was the moment he finally embraced the title of tenor that others had long given him. In 2020, Jonathan recorded his most ambitious project yet, Going the Distance. Created with the Royal Philharmonic Orchestra, it was structured as a 3-act journey mirroring his life, struggle, growth, and triumph. It aired as a full PBS special, introducing him to millions of new viewers. Still, Jonathan's battles weren't only musical. His lifelong struggles with weight and mental health continued. Yet, instead of hiding, he began to talk openly about them. In early 2022, he committed to walking 10,000 steps a day, a small goal that became a symbol of discipline and renewal. "I feel stronger than I have in a decade," he said in an interview. Understanding himself. The autism diagnosis. In early 2023, Jonathan shared a revelation that reframed his entire life. He had been diagnosed with autism shortly after his 27th birthday. The news came as both a surprise and a relief. For years, he had struggled to understand why social interactions exhausted him, why he often felt overwhelmed, and why he retreated into solitude after performances. The diagnosis brought clarity, not shame. "It's like realizing you've been viewing life through a different lens all along," he said. "Now I finally understand why I think and feel the way I do." His openness inspired thousands. Jonathan began speaking about autism, awareness, and kindness, using his platform to encourage empathy for those who see the world differently. His message was simple but powerful. Everyone has their own rhythm. The world is better when we listen to each other's a new era of music and purpose. By 2024, Jonathan had entered another creative chapter. His collaboration with legendary songwriter Diane Warren, By Request. The Diane Warren Songbook blended classical vocals with pop ballads. It was a fitting bridge between his classical roots and his emotional storytelling style. Now 29, Jonathan Antoine is far more than the shy boy from Britain's Got Talent. He's an artist who has turned adversity into art, pain into purpose, and silence into song. He continues to tour, record, and inspire, proving that true greatness is not about perfection. It's about authenticity. Conclusion: the power of a voice. Jonathan Antoine's story is not just about fame, it's about resilience. From a bullied boy in Essex to one of the most powerful tenors of his generation, his journey reminds us that beauty can emerge from pain, and that our differences often hold our greatest strengths. Through every triumph and every setback, Jonathan never stopped singing. His voice, once a fragile refuge, became his armor and his gift to the world. And perhaps that is his true legacy. Not the records or the standing ovations, but the courage to keep going, to find meaning in struggle, and to use his voice not only to move hearts, but to heal his own. So now, when you hear Jonathan Antoine sing, remember, behind that breathtaking sound is a boy who once hid from the world, and a man who found the courage to face it with music.